In this video, we're going to take a look at creating a VM image for Azure Marketplace Virtual Machine Offer using Packer with Shared Image Gallery destination. In a previous video, we looked at using Packer with VHD destination, but as Partner Center UI in the future starts supporting Shared Image Gallery as the source of the image for VM offer, we'll be able to use this approach instead of the VHD approach. So just to recap, today, when you're creating a VM offer, what you need to do is when you're creating a VM from an approved based image, there is a description here of how to create a VM manually, install software on it manually. We're going to use Packer to do that. But at the end, what it shows you is how to take that VM image that we created and how to export that VM image as a blob and copy it into a storage account. What we did is we spent another video on talking about generating this SURI. So in the same repo right here, we covered both approaches, VHD destination in a separate video, and this video will be about Packer with the shared image gallery, right? So eventually this will become less relevant unless you need the VHD for some reason, and we will be able to go straight to the shared image SIG abbreviated destination. So how is it going to work? Packer supports an output of a managed image, and managed image will need to be wrapped into a shared image gallery. So Packer can do both. It can create a managed image, and it can then create a image inside of a shared image gallery inside of your subscription with a configured VM. From there, we will be able to deploy a test VM very quickly. But today, before Shared Image Gallery supported in Partner Center, we would need another few steps of creating the VHD. But eventually, this part of the process right here will not be needed, and you will be able to use Packer with Shared Image Gallery approach to generate this, to test the VM, and to right away use it in Partner Center. Okay, but today we're going to talk about both steps so that way you are able to extract the VHD as needed. So let's take a look at the steps. So if you click on Shared Image Gallery approach in this repo, we download Packer as in the other on the other video about VHD destination, but instead of using the VHD template, we're going to use the SIG template. We still will need our credentials that we created in a separate video that will be linked related to this one. And this is the picture we just described. So let's see what we need to do to run through this for real, right? We're going to create a shared image gallery, or we can skip it if we have a new one, and we're going to create the shared image gallery and the definition. Let's do that now. So I cloned the same repo. And what we will be able to do here is just follow the commands. So let's open up our Packer SIG approach and scroll to the top. So we will need to set our credentials. If you remember from the previous video, we defined the credentials in this private file. These credentials will get deleted. So I'm just going to clean this up. I will remove this credential after recording the video. So let's set these credentials inside of environment variable. Let's go to our Packer directory. So we're here. And then let's go back to the SIG and take a look. Make sure, be careful not to commit anything to GitHub. We have this ignored. So we set the credentials, and then we would want to take a look at the Packer SIG Ubuntu JSON template to see what it's going to do. So inside of this template, very similar to the other one, we're going to use our variables. And this is the special parameters here that we'll need for the SIG. We'll need the SIG gallery resource group, SIG gallery name, image, and version. And the builder is here. We're going to build Ubuntu image starting from this one using this virtual machine size. Here, just like in the other video about VHD, we're configuring which VM size we're using. If your installation process is long, you may need bigger VM just to build it faster, where the resource group where Packer VM will get created. Then we tell it where to output. Instead of VHD output with a storage account for shared image gallery approach, we need to create a managed image. So we're going to tell it what its name will be and which resource group to use. That will be the same one where the shared image gallery is located. And then we configure the shared image gallery destination. All of these are documented in Packer docs for the Azure RM builder. We'll take a look in a second. And then we need subscription ID here, resource group, where it is, the gallery name parameterized above, the image name, and the image version and the replication location. In this case, we're just going to put the image in one region where we need it. And then this is the actual provisioning script, same as we saw with the VHD. So just to see, the VHD script is identical, and the script for the SIG is the same. This is the line that generalizes it before creating an image out of it, removing the users, but this is the installation and updates. Great. So this is the doc. This is the sections that we need to configure. Let's look in the docs. So if we do a quick search for Azure Packer ARM, we can find the docs. And inside of these docs, it's a quite long page. We can see shared image gallery configuration. And this is how we know how to configure it, right? Exactly what we saw, right? This is the managed image, and this is shared image gallery. Great. So let's go through the paces and see how it works. So we have the template, we reviewed the template, we have the credentials set. Now let's see, we need the shared image gallery defined. So let's create a resource group where the shared image gallery will be created. So I'm going to run this command. I'm logged in already with my Azure CLI. So we created a resource group. Now we're going to create the gallery resource inside of that resource group. It's a long-living resource. We're not going to delete it. Every time we publish a new image, we're just going to add it to the same one. So as that command is running, we can see we got our shared image gallery resource created here. Right now it's empty. And again, what is shared image gallery? Azure documentation describes it greatly. It's right here. It's basically a resource, like a mini marketplace inside of your own subscription where you can create a gallery and then image definitions and versions, very much mapping to how VM offers and marketplace look like. And then you can also say which regions it's going to replicate, etc. So we will see that in a second. So we got ourselves that gallery resource defined. The next step is to create an image definition. So we're saying inside of that gallery, create ourselves an image. It will be of type Linux, giving it some definitions. So as the command finished, we should be able to see now in the gallery, we have our image, which is nothing, right? Just a placeholder for where the image versions will live. And we can see that there are no versions yet here. It's a Linux generalized, exactly what we need. And it is defined in our account. That was a prerequisite. That was something that we needed to do because this template will actually be using that image. Okay, so the next step for us is to actually run the build using the Packer build command. And we're going to pass it the variables, the location, the name of the shared image gallery resource group, the shared image gallery resource itself, the image name. All of these are variables that we are passing to Packer that will get replaced inside of the variable section. Just to clarify it, it's going to go into these variables, and then it's going to flow through these user variables inside of where we need it. So let's kick off this process. So the process is running. Okay, and it's starting to create the virtual machine. It will generalize it, and then it will create the shared image gallery image out of the managed image. So let's give it some time to run. So what we see happening right now is it finished generalizing the VM. right here. And now it's querying the machine properties, finding the disk, and then it's looking for other disks, powering off the VM, and then it will do the rest of the steps. So after powering off the VM, Packer is creating the managed image called Packer image. And then once that is created, Packer is now publishing that image to the shared image gallery we specified, in the regions we specified, with the counts of replicas we specified. So let's take a look in the portal. In the portal, it will look like this. This is that Packer image created from the virtual machine that we had before. Then this is the image gallery. That's the image definition we created, and that's the image version that is right now creating. This takes a little bit of time. This image version is getting created from the virtual machine that Packer captured, and you can still see that virtual machine is still around. It will be stopped. From there, it created the Packer image, and from the Packer image, it's creating the shared image gallery version. So it's kind of like this: Packer created VM, run the script, create the managed image, that Packer image. Now it's creating this thing. Next step, we'll be able to deploy a test VM and test everything, and then we can export this into a VHD. So the creation process finally finished. Don't be surprised, this part right here is taking quite a long time to create the image version from the managed image. So don't be surprised if it takes 5 to 10 minutes. And then in the portal, while it's running, it would show creating, and then it would show succeeded. So what we have now is a resource for the image gallery, image definition, and then image version in the right image where we put it, right here. And now what Packer is doing is deleting the resource group with the virtual machine. So we are ready to proceed. So to proceed, what we want to do is create a test VM. If you remember from the VHD video where we discussed, just to show you real quick, it created VHD. So to create a managed VM, test VM easily, we needed to create a managed image and then test VM. But because in shared image gallery, we right away have the image definition, we can create a test VM very quickly and easily. So we will create a group first. So let's just follow the steps. We'll create a resource group for the VM. And once the group is created, we will point to the image right here inside of the shared image gallery. Right here is the gallery name, the image name, and the version. And as easy as that, we'll be able to have our test VM ready. This will take a few seconds to create. But why do we create the VM? We create the VM because once the VM is created, we'll need to run the certification test tool against the VM or use the self-test API. In this video, I'm not going to record how to run this tool. We did it in the VHD version of the video, and you can also just visit this blog post. And in the blog post, there's another video that's showing how to run the tool. But basically, once the VM is running, it connects to it, runs a few tests against that VM. Okay, so that's all great. So at this point, we have our shared image gallery with the VM image version and a test VM that is being created and we'll delete it. How do we now, for today, that the marketplace requires SAS URL still for publishing, how do we get the SAS URL from the shared image gallery? So I show the commands here, but for more details and screenshots, take a look at this blog post that basically walks through the process in more detail. And the process is simple. So let's run through this process inside of our window here. So I will just open another terminal window and let's see. So create Azure Managed Disk from the shared image gallery, right? So we have our shared image gallery. We're gonna go back and we're gonna create a disk out of it. So we are going to create a disk, my disk from image. In theory, we could have avoided this step. but I just want me to show you why, because we had the Packer image, right? This was the image that Packer created, and then it took this image and it put it here. So if we still have this around, we don't need to do what I'm doing right now. I'm doing right now to show you what if you deleted this, right? You don't have it anymore, and you wanted to get an image SAS URL of this thing. So look, what we are doing right now is we're running a command that creates a disk called my disk from this. This is the key part right here. Gallery image reference. I'm pointing to a gallery, to the OS disk. If I had more than OS disk, there would be a few more steps as to point to specific data disks. But right now, this is creating my disk from image. So I created a disk from image. Then I can create disk grant access. I can get the SAS URL for that managed disk for a few hours with read level. So let's see what that looks like. And we would think maybe this will be sufficient to submit to the marketplace as a SAS URL. But what we will see in a second is that the URL that it created will not be accepted by the marketplace because it's not complying with the type of SAS that marketplace needed, right? It says no VHD, it doesn't have the expiration date correctly, right? So it's a great first step to get the pointer to that blob, but we still need to put it into a storage account of our own to generate the proper SAS. So that's the next step. So the next step is in here we're creating ourselves a storage account in the same resource group just to experiment. So again, um, and then we will create a container, as you can see in the next command right here. And then inside, then for that container, we will be able to create writable. Let me change this date. Writable SAS. So we created storage account. Now I'm creating a container called my VHDs in the storage account. Then we are generating a SAS, writable SAS URI for that. Okay, so that's the signature. And then what we are going to use is the AZ copy command to copy from the exported URL into, so this is the SAS signature. This is going to be the name of our image inside of the storage account we just created, inside of the container that we created, and that's its writable signature. And what do we put there? We put there a copy of these bits of the exported image, okay? So that's how many steps we need to take, all automatable, to basically do a quick copy. And then once we have that in that storage account, we'll be able to see it in the portal. Right, so let's see. So we are right now got ourselves gallery image. Then we created a disk out of that image. Then we are exported that disk. You can see right now it's exported. We can cancel the export, but that's the URL that's being used right now to copy those bits into a container inside of the storage account. Okay, so let's see, it's still doing the copy. So the copy completed in about 2 minutes. And now we have inside of the storage account that we were looking at, we have our VHD, which is perfect. And then the only thing we need to do now is to create the SAS signature for that VHD, using the right rules of SAS. And then you can see right here is our SAS signature. And by including the SAS signature together with the VHD, we can generate our URL. So again, our URL for marketplace would be this one. Okay, and that's what we could do. So basically, that's how we got the VHD out of a shared image gallery. All of this is described in the details inside of these commands, but also in this blog, it goes through more. So that's the step we just did right over here. Create disk, export, and copy. And now we can use this for the marketplace. However, in the future, like I mentioned, this will not be needed. Once it's in the shared image gallery, we can create a test VM, which we got, and we can right away publish it into Partner Center. But today you can already start using this approach of generating it, but need a couple more steps to create it. And what we are able to just see right now is that the virtual machine that we were creating, it created successfully. And that virtual machine is running, and we can do the testing and certification against, and that was created from the VM image. So that concludes this video on creating VM image using Packer with Shared Image Gallery. And previous video, we covered how to create Packer with VHD. So we have both options. You may not need this one in the future. This one may be the only one needed. And in the longer term future, the service from Azure called Azure Image Builder Service, which is currently in preview, may be what you could use instead of Packer, but it would be very similar change. There would be a template defining what to do, but instead of running Packer command on your machine like this, Packer build, it could run in Azure in the cloud, but for now, this is as simple as running it Packer and the service, because the service is not yet GA. But once it's GA, you can revisit this. It's built on top of Packer. So thank you for watching this. And with this, we should be able to have the VM offer VHD that's needed to publish in Partner Center, which we discuss in a separate video about publishing in a Partner Center with VHD. Thank you.